No, 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 no. Can't imagine.
I mean, you had two, I have two at different ages, and that's a handful, but 4 babies at once.
Wow.
Wow.
God bless them. Okay, so many interesting conversations in our daily morning meeting after the show. And earlier this week, we had started talking about how many hospitals, don't have traditional nurseries where you see the babies behind the glass. They're doing away with that because they really value that mom-baby bonding and keeping that baby with the mom from the get-go.
Yeah, which makes sense, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
The old movies from the 70s where you see like 50 babies laid out in this little, why keep them all together like that? So parents, another thing they're doing now is they're waiting to have their boys circumcised, and some are saying, I'm not doing it at all.
Exactly, and oftentimes, I know with my son, even then, this was almost 7 years ago, they didn't do the circumcision in the hospital. We went to the doctor's office a few days later. So, got us talking. Is there a trend for more parents to leave their baby boys intact and not circumcise? A recent Mayo Clinic publication found that circumcision rates in newborns has declined from 83% in the 1960s to 77% now.
Yeah, so look at that. OBGYN Dr. Candace Wood joined us. Thank you, doctor, for being here. Really appreciate it. Yeah, and I know you're busy, mom, these days too, right? So what's with the circumcision thing? Why, this is something we're born with, right? So how'd that all start, and why are people doing it, and why are people doing it less?
Well, I've definitely seen some trends. I still see a lot continuing to do circumcision, but I see a lot more questioning, and I agree with what you guys stated as the decreasing trend. But it's a religious practice, but what we found medically, because obviously I'm going to speak to the medical points, is there are a lot of medical benefits to circumcision.
Oh, really? Like what?
There was actually an Australian study that a doctor, after that study, proved that the benefits compared to the risks were 200 to 1. He likened it to vaccination.
Oh my God.
Wow. The benefits. So what are the benefits, you asked? There's a decrease in infection, just because it's cleaner. You don't have to clean it very much to keep the penis clean if you're circumcised. There's a decrease in penile cancer rates for the men. There's a decrease in cervical cancer transmission to the female partners.
Wow.
Decrease in HIV transmission, herpes, some other sexually transmitted infections, including trichomonas, and UTIs as well.
Wow.
So there's a lot of benefits to the males and to their partners. And as far as the complications for the actual procedure, they're very low. There can be some pain, there can be some infection related to that, and then there can be some dissatisfaction with the amount of skin removed being too much or too little.
Okay.
Do you recommend that parents do it then?
As far as from a medical standpoint, yes. It's still a personal decision based on, some people do it, well, I want his to look like dad's one way or the other, or it's religious. But from a medical standpoint, the risks,
and you're
the risks
speaking medically.
The benefits outweigh the risks.
Okay, okay. Well, with that covered now, Beyonce, last week, this was another thing we talked about. She announced she's having twins.
So exciting.
And she's among quite a few celebrities, it seems like, that have had twins or are pregnant with twins. She's, in her mid-30s right now. And, oftentimes as you get later in life, and if you do look for fertility assistance, you do get multiple births because of the way that works. So, is that a trend? Is that common? I mean, twins are more common when we do when we do use fertility as assistance,
for sure.
right?
It's like 1 in 80 naturally, and it's 1 in 6 when you use IVF.
Wow.
So,
Because more eggs are released, is that what it is?
Well, often, almost, some infertility offices will only put 1 egg back, but most put 2 to ensure that there is a pregnancy, and then often both take, and so then you get twins that way. But most of the celebrities that you mentioned, Beyonce and some of the other ones, they're older, just like you said.
Yeah.
And fertility declines at 32 and then rapidly declines at 37 and on. And so they probably are looking into fertility treatments, and that's why there's the huge rate of twins. And it's super exciting, but with twins, there's also a lot of risks that come rather than with a singleton. And so it's it's really exciting, but also a little scary for
and
all
you
those
have
twin
twins.
moms.
Is it a blast, or is it just like
it
crazy?
really is, and that's why I think it's the most wonderful thing, but that's why I want to say there still are more risks with it, to not get people too excited. But it's such a blessing. They're so fun, and it's just so fun to see two babies interacting together all the time.
I bet.
It's really fun.
I bet that bond that they'll always forever share.
Yes, it's really cool.
Well, Doctor, thanks so much for being here. You're always great.
Nice to see you.
Come back anytime.
Now she's headed off to the office to take care of her patients.
Right. And then she goes home and takes care of the twins.
All of it, and her other kids. Yeah.
You women,
she's running circles around all of us.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. All right, Corey's out for us. Having a good time today. What are you seeing, Cor?